Leadership, something I am very familiar with as I had previously led a team known as BDM, in the Spartan SMP, but I had retired in Season 3 of the server. But now, I was back. Now leading an entire team of 20 people, I became the leader of the Democrats alongside my friend nedraw, and it all started with me saving one of my own team members from the void. So after saving Snowy, and getting a bit of iron, I began gearing up. One of my team members gave me a few diamonds to make a bit of armor, so I made some basic armor and tools. And then I went off to the caves to mine for diamonds. Finding diamonds was pretty easy, but I could make it even faster by mining over the void. And if you're confused about the whole void thing, this is a skyblock event hosted by Minecraft Man. So after getting lucky with diamonds, I went back up to the surface and made a vault to store my items, which would surely keep my items safe and the items would never get stolen. Well, long story short, it did. I didn't really think much of it as they only stole iron and a bit of lapis, so I moved on and went to explore the island. That was also when I noticed a spelling error on the signs. I found this pretty funny and decided to name the island after it, calling it Whole Island. That is also when another funny moment happened. One of my teammates, Jaden, who had never died before on these events, had just died to fall damage. Anyway, I logged off for the time being. When I logged back on, my teammates were holding an election. Nedraw won the majority of the votes, but we decided that he would be the leader of combat and commands, while I would be the leader of the more technical side of things, for example planning or strategizing. So after grinding a bit of XP, and villager trading for a bit, I logged off for the night. At everyone, crafting recipe for custom items. Now you may be confused as to what this means. Basically there were 3 custom items that Adish told us he would add. The one we want to focus of for now is the spiral sword. It is a sword with 5 durability and it breaks all pieces of a player's armor if they are hit with the sword. This is a ridiculously overpowered weapon and Adish had now made the recipe super cheap. Now this may seem like a massive disadvantage for us as we were severely outnumbered, but I needed to find a way to turn the tides in our favor, and being the head of the strategizing, I struck a genius plan. Basically the plan was to stick to long-range combat as the enemy team would break our armor immediately if we engaged into hand-to-hand combat. A weird exploit with the spiral sword was that if you held a bow in your offhand and the sword in your main, it would transfer the effects of the spiral sword to the bow, meaning that the person's armor would break. This is also when nedraw suggested that we use firework crossbows to finish off our opponents. We also discovered later that we could use the same trick with bows and spiral swords with firework crossbows, so their armor would break from the fireworks as well. I was super confident that we would win this event despite us being severely outnumbered. Also, remember when I saved Snowy from the void at the start of the video? Well, now nedraw was in the void and needed my help, so I went over to the coordinates he sent me and rescued him. So after that, I crafted the firework rockets. Then, a person from our team called Grim tried to lure us into a pitfall trap. He tried to justify it by saying that it wouldn't kill you and it would leave you on half a heart, but then he himself proceeded to fall in the pit and die. We just shrugged this incident off, but little did we know that this would be the first of many betrayals that were to come. Okay, so we got griefed, our villagers killed and some stuff from our chests was missing. As much as I wanted to solve this case, I knew there wasn't enough time to worry about these issues. We had bigger problems on our plate. It wasn't all bad news though, as we had crafted our first few spiral swords, and one of them was given to me. Now we had gotten everything we needed for War Day. Now all I needed to do was to ensure that everyone followed the plan. Nedraw also made a few towers to enhance our defense, as our plan required for us to be the defenders. Then me and nedraw pulled a little prank on one of our team members. You might be asking why I did this, and that is because only 4.5% of you are subscribed. And when I logged on the next day, tragedy, everything was gone, all the chests, all the villagers, the mob farm and even the structures were griefed. This had gotten out of hand, and luckily I knew who the griefer was. Earlier, one of my teammates gave me info that a member named Ray tried to kill him with respawn anchors, and he also left the Discord server we had made. So with all this evidence, we found the griefer. The griefer was banned from the server as team griefing was against the rules. Justice had been served. This whole situation made me super paranoid about our whole team. What if the griefer told the enemies about our plan? What if there were more infiltrators within our team leaking all our info, and when the time came they would kill us all? I was so paranoid that I couldn't even get myself to trust one of my closest allies. Well, only time would tell what was to happen next, so I slept on the incident. The next day, I was quite pleasantly surprised by the state of the island. It was still in good condition and new areas had been made. The island looked much better and it enhanced our defense system, and my favorite of them all was how well the mob farm was ruining. The owner also announced that the final battle would be taking place that following day, so we began our final prep. The day was upon us. We had around 30 minutes till the barriers dropped and the fighting would begin. Also, we added 3 new things to the plan. Firstly, we made a TNT cannon and it would be activated as soon as the enemies attacked. We also had one of our team members go above the bridge that linked the 2 islands, and his responsibility was to drop TNT minecarts on the opponents' heads. And finally, I asked our team members to make a spare set of iron armor, as our armor would most likely break due to the spiral swords. Iron is better than nothing after all. We implemented these changes because only 5 of our team members could log on for the fight. I was anticipating for this fight to be a 5v10, so I placed a lot of emphasis on following the plan as it would be the only way we would win this. A problem arose as there were only 5 minutes left and Snowy still hadn't logged on. We needed Snowy as he had a lot of gaps and he was the one responsible for TNT mine carting the enemies, but soon enough, he logged on. Remember the griefer from like 2 minutes ago? So he got unbanned and he apologized for griefing. He wanted to help us fight in the battle. I was now stuck to make a decision: either kill him and risk him telling the enemies our entire plan, or let him stay and fight alongside us and risk him betraying us in the battle and possibly knocking us in the void or using anchors to blow us up. I chose to let him stay. A tough decision surely, but I knew deep down that he wouldn't betray us for the second time. Now it was all up to him to not betray that trust. Adish had now given the command to the admin to drop the walls, and with one final revision of the plan, everyone got into position, and now was the time to know if all that planning would be successful, or an utter failure. Also, only 5 people from their team logged on, but that didn't matter, more could be on the way. We had to be the defending team as we didn't know what they had set up on their island. All seemed to go well until my Minecraft crashed, and was taking a while to launch again. I was still determined to win, so I guided my team through Discord. Jaden and Ray went to attack, and there were no traps, so I messaged Snowy and Nedraw to join the attack. After a tiny exchange that occurred at the enemy's island, my teammates killed one of the enemies and they killed one of our players, so our team retreated and waited for the others arrive. And once everyone was there, we all attacked. Leadership, something I am very familiar with as I had previously led a team known as BDM. I became the leader of the Democrats alongside my friend nedraw. While I would would be the leader of the more technical side of things, for example planning or strategizing. Basically the plan was to stick to long-range combat. I found this pretty funny and decided to name the island after it, calling it Whole Island. It wasn't all bad news though, as we had crafted our first few spiral swords. And when I logged on the next day, tragedy, everything was gone. So we won. It all worked out in the end. Our strategy to use the firework launchers and the spiral swords worked perfectly, despite all the troubles, all the betrayals, and all the paranoia. It had all worked out.